much, sir or madam. Ronovan Slink there in the video department. How about those Cavaliers?
Wow, that was such a fun game.
Wow.
Down 22 points. They come back and get the win thanks to D-Wade.
A win nobody expected them to get. This game had it all. Come from behind. Evan Mobley ankle injury. Breaking the Celtics' 11-game win streak. D-Wade. Are they going to call him D-Wade?
No.
He's not going to be Cleveland's own D-Wade. Dean Wade. This is a guy who, he wasn't scoring much until last night. He scored 14 points total in his last 8 games. But he came out.
That's not that many.
Huh?
That's not that many. I know about basketball.
Mary, leave the sports break to Poundcake, all right?
Okay, sorry.
That is not many, no. But he was the man of the hour last night, boy.
It feels good. It just feels good that my teammates had the trust in me to take those shots. And, in the first half, I missed a whole bunch of shots. But, at halftime, they're like, you shoot it every single time, no matter what. You shoot it 100 times in a row. We don't care if you miss.
What does this kind of win do for this team moving forward?
It's a world of difference, this win. The best team in the NBA. On our home court, we protected it. We were down there for a little bit of the game. And, just to fight and overcome that and play together and just, come out and battle was big for us. And
he's kind of a goofy-looking dude. Is that a guy, Poundcake, that could potentially make it move for you? Or could he be a worthy successor to Kevin Love?
I'm still on delay, so I don't see him yet.
Oh, you haven't seen Dean Wade?
Oh, yeah. No, I do know who he is. I saw him make that shot last night. Yeah, he's cute.
He scored 20 points by himself in the fourth quarter.
That's how people score points.
I'm sorry?
You score your points by yourself.
Yeah, Dean Wade's cute.
Fair enough. 20 points in the fourth quarter, yeah.
Usually the beard thing's not for me.
Usually, well, especially if it's
Kevin Love had a beard.
Yeah, but some of these guys,
it's not a scraggly beard.
Yeah,
like
some of these
that.
guys have the gorilla mask going. They got like a giant pube beard on their face.
Yeah, there are some dudes where it's a part of their whole image. It works for them, but other guys it does not. And I can tell they're trying to go they're trying something new. They're going through a phase.
He's had a beard for years.
I'm not saying that's why I said it works for him.
Okay.
But there's other people like if your beard gets to the point where there's food getting stuck in it when you eat, I can't.
Like you look like you've been living in a cabin in the woods for
can't.
30 years.
It needs to be perfect. If you're gonna have it that long, it needs to be groomed. It needs to be coiffed. Like you need to have.
There's
it smell
not that
good.
many people that are I mean, I'm sure there are people that are, but yes, food will occasionally touch my beard, but then I wipe it off immediately.
Also, those are
two
right, but those are two specific kinds of beards, right? People who want to just grow it out, people who want to do the mountain man thing, they're not gonna groom it. They're gonna get lentil soup in their beard. They're gonna get all.
No,
I disagree with that. I think there's a lot of people that have really long beards that keep their beard in really good condition.
How?
The same way you do with the rest of your body. You wash it, you clean it, you comb it.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's not like Poundcake's talking about like a nice tight beard.
Right.
If you're going to grow it out, you're not going to.
And it'd still be very nice.
I guess. I mean, bigger the beard, the more you're going to get food in it, right? If you got some boys to men razor cut thing, some dudes are still trying to rock that chin strap. That is the dopiest look. It always was. It never looked good. Some guys are still doing it. You don't have to worry about that. But listen, GQ will eventually get a. Did you get any in your beard that time?
No.
Okay. Dean Wade, GQ will get a hold of him, and then they'll glam him all up, and he'll start walking through the. They'll film him walking into the locker room in a big fur coat or something. I mean, the guy had a great game. He wasn't doing much before this, but a great game on a night when, the Kelce brothers were there. They're shotgunning beers on the Jumbotron. Everything was locked in last night to beat by 1 point. 105-104 was the final there.
And they called a foul on the last play, and then it was overturned. Cavs win.
Cavs win.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing the show at Brothers Lounge on Tuesday that I do, and it ended just as that Dean Wade dunk happened. So we end the show like, good night, turn the TV on. Dean Wade puts that miss back, dunks it, and everybody was going crazy. It was so fun.
Perfect coda
Yeah.
to the night.
Yep.
A lot of people have asked me if I have any kind of tribute or compilation made up of all the calls I got from Jenna, and I don't, because I would use them individually. I didn't keep them. They were very much of the moment. They were completely non sequiturs most of the time. Of course, Jenna from Poland played a lot of her messages over the past few years. She passed away last week. You can leave a condolence at the Feral Cats Facebook page if you like. But no, I don't have anything like that. A handful of, and every time this happens, the reaction from the audience is the same. And they might be kind of feeding off my energy, too, in that I always worry about listeners we haven't heard from in a while. I was worried about Darnell because we hadn't heard from him in a while. Then he emailed me about Jenna because they were friends, traveled in a lot of the same circles, and so he's okay. But a handful of people have pointed out, and this falls into the be careful what you ask for because you just might get it category, that we haven't heard from Dick from Dayton in a while. And we're never going to know if something happens there. The only thing that I can...
Oh, well, no. I think because he calls so many shows, if something were to happen to him, it'll be in the paper.
The paper? I was going to say, I don't talk to other radio shows. Like, how am I going to find out?
But, I imagine...
The paper?
It'll be in the paper. It'll be news, and someone will stumble onto it and let us know. I have faith.
Well, that's what it's going to have to be if something happens. I imagine it'll be more like there'll be a stillness in the wind. There'll be a silence of the mandolins, and you won't hear them being played anymore. You won't hear his. I imagine that Mary might feel it first.
Yeah. It's like when your knees get hurt when it's going to rain.
Yeah.
My ears will start humming.
Right.
The sound of an out-of-tune mandolin from the weather.
A beautiful thing.
Warped from the humidity or whatever. The barometric pressure really plays havoc with Dick's instrument.
You know, the weather. Let me see it. Let's see that beautiful thing. Wow.
Now, this will be a fitting tribute when he goes, right? Mary will give a eulogy.
Mm-hmm.
Bill, you guys have met him. I never met him.
Yeah.
Weather, they get out of tune.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty good now. Let me tell you a story about a man named Charlie on the David.
Need some accompaniment, really.
Forever on the streets of Boston, he's the man who ever reached. Will he ever return? Will he ever return? And his face is on shining. Right forever from the streets of Boston, he's the man who ever returned.
Woo! That was fantastic.
You were so nice to him. I know.
He's an old man.
Lying-ass bitch.
I stopped
What's he
myself.
supposed to do? He
That was
doesn't have
very,
any
very
family.
nice.
He lives alone.
No, his girlfriend.
He says he has a girlfriend.
Well, I don't have any reason to doubt him. I mean, why would
I
an
mean, I
old
didn't
guy
either.
lie about that?
I didn't meet her.
I think she's infirmed. I think that's what it is. I think he feels like he's stuck with her. Again, this is all speculation. So I don't know. I don't think that can. I kind of initially brushed it off when a couple people were like, "Yeah, we haven't heard from Dick." But the more I think about it, that can't be good news. Now, will the Lowe's locations go to half staff when he passes away? Do you think that there'll be any kind of recognition of his quarter century of service?
I'm sure they will.
I will personally, you heard it here first, I will personally put calls out to all the local Lowe's locations and ask them. I know he worked at the one in Beaver Creek. I know that's out Dayton way. But I will personally call the local Lowe's locations and ask them if they'll do that. Of course, locally, I'll have to explain to them who he is. Alan, I'm getting a little nervous because I find more and more that Poundcake and I have the same taste in men.
Why does that make you nervous?
Well, maybe this isn't a person who wants to have a whole lot in common with you. Maybe they think of you as juvenile, capricious. I don't know.
That should show you that most people, as different as they are, they can always find something where they have common ground.
Yeah, there's always a thread that can connect two very disparate people, right?
I feel like I have very good taste in men.
I know you do, sweetie. The point is, now, what would constitute bad taste in men? You say, I think I have good taste in men.
He thinks he has a very good
Very
taste
good
in
taste
men.
in
Okay.
Good looking, arrogant.
Yeah, but everybody wants somebody who's good looking. That doesn't mean you have good
arrogant.
taste.
And arrogant.
Arrogant what?
They're arrogant. Like they're very cocky. I love that.
Cocky and arrogant are two different things.
They're not the same thing. I thought they were the same
Cocky gets a bad rap. Cocky is kind of maybe a little bit too confident. Arrogant is somebody who like treats people like crap.
Okay,
That's
well,
how
both.
that's
I
how
love
I
both of
that's how I
those.
think.
You
of it.
like that. You like someone that treats someone poorly.
Yeah, that's hot.
Why is that
Why
hot?
is that
I
hot?
think you think arrogance or cockiness is hot.
I said both of them were hot.
Confidence is always attractive, men and women. But treating other people poorly, why is that hot?
I don't know. I'm sure I probably have issues, but that's what I find hot.
I know, because you have like a weird power thing,
Yes.
too. You really like to exert power, but because you don't have any, you kind of live vicariously through other people who do.
Sure.
And that's a weird thing.
It is real. Yeah, go to therapy, dude.
No, don't go to therapy. I want to keep hearing these kinds of
I
stories.
got something wrong with me, don't you? Because I got Stockholm syndrome. Okay, leave me alone.
Do you know what
don't have-
Stockholm
You
syndrome
don't even have
is?
a captor, dum dum.
Stockholm syndrome.
You can't get anybody
idea of
to
someone-
lock you up.
You're not even booed up. What are you
The
talking
idea of
about?
someone capturing me is hot, and then so the guy that I would want to capture me don't capture me. So therefore, I lust after that person. It's an issue.
Do you know what the hell he's saying, Bill?
All he's saying
Boy, I can
is-
make hide nor hair of it.
I think what he's saying is he's too thirsty to get the kind of guy that he wants.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. That's shorthand.
Well, okay. Well, listen, Travis Kelce's headed to Singapore. Singapore. Don't think I didn't mean to say Singapore.
There's a little Dick from Dayton in all of
I
us.
know.
Travis Kelce's in
Yeah.
Singapore.
Hey, Travis Chalmers is going to Singapore. He's going to hook up with his boo. He and his manager. Ooh, that's romantic. Going to Singapore because that's where Taylor Swift is, of course. Now, what's the over-under on these two breaking up in the off-season?
I feel like they're going to get married. They're going to be engaged before the end of the year.
Really?
Really.
And you think they'll get married?
Yeah,
Engagement, I'll give you. You think they'll get married?
I do. They'll
Huh.
probably get married next summer. They're going to be engaged before the end of the year.
I think she's going to get canceled. He's going to break up with her. And then that.
She's going to get canceled.
And then she's going to be that Singapore.
Yeah. Well, again, he's going to see her. She's playing in Singapore. And then after this weekend, she's off until May. She'll start her European tour in May. So they'll have a substantial amount of time together, which I don't know that they've had, right? I mean, when you're both going at 100 miles an hour, and this is true of civilians too, when you're busy and things are going well and you're going 100 miles an hour, it's like the movie Speed, right? How did Sandy Bullock and Keanu hook up? Exigent circumstances. It was very stressful. The endorphins are running high, but then you get some downtime, and even people at the stars in the firmament, like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, might find themselves looking at each other and going,
Well, that's what happened to everybody during the pandemic. Everyone was working opposite shifts, or you're not around your spouse for 40 hours a week, and then you break up because you're like, man, this kind of sucks. I don't even like you that much.
did happen to a lot of people, which I thought was weird. Theoretically, I understand it, when you're not in someone's face and then you are, and there were a lot of people working at home, and then for some people you threw kids into the mix, and it was just a recipe for disaster. But I'm always surprised, and I have had couple friends like this. I'm always surprised at how many people I know who are married and genuinely don't seem to like each other. And I don't get it. They're always bagging on each other. And it goes beyond oh, this is just how we play. It's never that.
Yeah,
it's
there's
never lighthearted.
There's true animosity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you together? How did you? I understand people can change over time, so it's not a matter of how did you get together in the first place. But the people who genuinely don't seem to like each other is crazy to me.
I have a friend like that, him and his wife. I'm like, you guys, they're Christians. I was like, if you were not Christians, you would be divorced. And both of them
Well, what
were
does
like,
Christian have to do
well,
with
they don't
it?
believe in divorce.
Yeah,
so they
They just
said-
believe in hating each other until they
said
die?
100%. If we
Yes.
did not think that there were eternal consequences for getting divorced, we would be divorced by now.
That's so stupid.
They think God cares if they get divorced.
That's what their book says.
Because their
So they're
vows
not
say
divorced
for better,
because of that.
till death do we part.
Mhm.
So, but in their mind, I would think, okay, if that's what you believe, that's fine, that's your belief. But are you taking any steps to try to
Fix the
fix
situation.
that
But
situation?
can you fix a situation with someone you don't like?
Yes.
Or do you even want to?
You
You're like,
start-
I don't like you.
But you start out not knowing somebody at all, and then you find things you like about them. And I know people can change and lives change or whatever, but there's got to be, because it's chemical. I know people don't like to say it, but when you first kind of connect with somebody, that's chemical. And it's like there's got to be something in there still, unless
I
they've
mean,
changed so
maybe.
much. They have kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks too.
They're young too. They have 3 kids under 8.
And
I think.
you know, people can't seem to figure out if they think kids are stupid or if kids are geniuses. But let's say they're geniuses or they're not, somewhere in the middle. Those kids are going to grow up with 2 people that they can tell
That's
don't
what
like
I
each
said.
other.
I was like, dude, it's not a bad thing. I was saying like, I wish in retrospect, my parents' divorce was the worst thing that ever happened to me when I was 11 years old, right? And I hated it through middle school and high school. But now as an adult, I'm like, man, they should have divorced years prior. Like, I might have had a chance at a little bit of a better life if they weren't constantly fighting through, like, early formative years. you
Yeah.
know?
And so them splitting up, I mean, given that interaction between them around you guys, them splitting up was there was no upside to that for you.
Well, no, because we were also still super religious at that point. So at 11 years old, I was worried about the afterlife of my parents and like very concerned with my dad going to hell because he, was with another woman and adultery and all these things. And then also just like not having 2 parents, like my dad not living there anymore. And for a while, I wasn't allowed to see him. There was a lot of animosity in their breakup. And we were very much used as pawns and like in and out of court and all kind. It was very, very messy. And I'm like, if you guys just would have figured this out 10 years earlier, instead of going through all this, would it have been easier?
But some of you might not have existed.
No.
You were all born by then?
yeah.
I mean,
I guess
you.
my little sister wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Because she was 7 when they split.
Well, there you go. Listen,
But
my
that's all-
kids.
that's 30 years later. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
my
hey,
kids were
hindsight's 20/20.
little when my ex-wife and I split. But that's why I was so laser focused on being around all the time.
Well, that's like Brian, too. His daughter was like, I think she was less than 1. So she's never known anything.
My
but
daughter was
her
6
parents.
months old when her mom
Yeah.
and I split.
So that's
yeah.
all they know is like my dad lives in one place and mom lives in another. you know?
Yep. But
Which
I was
is
traveling.
relatively easier.
I was like interstate travel for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't want. That's why it always pissed me off. I knew guys who like split up with their wives or they had kids, and they're like, "Oh, I don't see my kids." I'm like, they live half an hour from you. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I would love for my kids to be like a drive away, right? That didn't take half a day.
I also wonder how much of it isn't religious, but it's just stubbornness, where you're like, I married this person.
I don't want everybody to be right. That I shouldn't have done
or
it.
Like,
yeah.
Or that. Or it's like,
Well, that is part
you
and
know?
parcel of religion is stubbornness.
But I'm saying in like even for couples who aren't religious, if
Yeah.
they're just like, don't want to face it or don't want to have to deal with a divorce where they're, cheaper to keep her.
I
kind of a
guess. I
thing.
mean, obviously there is the monetary thing, but it's not the 50s anymore. I could see that. I know there's an ego thing involved, but if it were the 50s, I get it, but it ain't. And when, the divorce rate, people used to throw out the whole 50% thing. That has gone down. But that's just because fewer people are getting married.
Right.
So, I don't know. But it is pretty wild. But, okay, so anyway,
Well, fewer people are getting married, and when you look at people that have gotten divorced, they get married again, and then they're more likely to get divorced again, too.
Is that true?
I think it is. think
I would
second
never.
marriage is-
I would never get married a third time. Never, ever, ever
You
get
said
married
that
a
about
third.
the second time. and
Well,
you
you
said that
gotta
about
give. You
kids,
gotta
and
give me
you
a.
said-
You gotta give me a mulligan. I mean, a lot of people get married twice,
You
right?
know he's gonna meet Gwen.
Well, that's true, right? Anybody who's ever been divorced goes, I'm never doing this again. But then you might go for the second time, which I did. I would never go for a third time
I'm holding
because
strong.
that means it's me, right? I mean, I know it's partially me in general. You know, I'm not easy. I get it. But why go a third time? That's like these people that get married. Like they just like, I don't know what they like,
They like the party.
but have the party. Like,
Just throw
you
a
know.
party.
Yeah, I don't get it, man.
It's crazy how many people
Give away all your crap every 5 years.
Like
I don't
that's-
see the appeal of that.
That's the most important thing. Not even the marriage, but just having the big wedding, just to say that you did, is mind-boggling to me.
Brian and I have talked about that. We're not really sure if we're ever going to get married legally, but I was like, dude, let's just, instead of spending, $40,000 on a wedding, let's take $5,000 and throw a kick-ass party. If we can't throw a fun party for $5,000, I mean, there's bigger issues there.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
just have the party.
Yeah. Hey, we love each other and we want you guys to come over.
Right.
That's the reason. Bring gift cards if you want. There's booze,
Alan, divorce is too expensive for a man. It's cheaper to stay together. Listen,
Yeah,
man.
worth it, though.
Listen, in only one way, and that's monetarily, right? Which I know is what you're talking about. But in every other way, it's more expensive. Why would you want to go? Yeah, it's really expensive, right? I paid a ton of money in alimony and child support. A ton. But everybody goes on to, continue their lives. And, so it's cheaper in precisely one way, but every other way it's more expensive for you mentally. It's more expensive it ain't worth it. So Mary's on the board. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift will get married.
I think they'll be engaged by the end of this year, married by the end of next year.
Do you think he'll pop the question in Singapore?
I don't think they're going to do it at a concert or a football game.
Oh.
I feel
I
like
think it's
that's
be very
something-
private. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to do, if she's off but until May, that might happen in the next 2 months. They're hanging out, they're on vacation because he's off too. I don't know what their practice schedule is like or how early that kind of stuff starts, but if they go, they go to Italy for a month or something, I feel like that's more what'll happen. And then a big announcement, and then
You think
get
they
married
invite
this
all of
time
the
next year.
exes?
To the engagement in Italy?
No, the wedding. Like
Oh.
the bride side. There's Gyllenhaal. There's John Mayer. There's what's his name? Louis
CK?
Louis C.K.'s there. He's got his pants down around his ankles. As custom dictates. I'm going to break here. I want to get to that Stained show. I'll have those tickets for you a little bit later on. Cavs Heat are going to be in town in a couple of weeks. 2 weeks from today, in fact. And a couple other things we'll get to as well. 35192. Want to text me for anything else? Listen anywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
This
Welcome to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
will again